Well, it's Monday and it's the 10th of January, and it's a wet and a cold day today. We've had rain on and off all morning, and there's been a 2 or 3 times where it has just briefly turned to snow but not lasted more than a couple of minutes and gone back to rain. And so there's nothing I can do in the garden, and what I've done is I've come into the greenhouse because you remember that in a previous blog I put that I planted some cowslips, and so far it doesn't look like that there's anything happening with them. I'm just having a little bit of a dig around here, and there's absolutely no sign of anything at all, and I think it's probably because the compost just froze up during this long cold spell that we had. And it looks the same with the runner beans as well, which I planted with my grandson going back just before Christmas. There is the sign of a root there, but when I just dig into it, no, there's nothing happening. The beans are there, but they're not even beginning to germinate at all by the looks of it. So again, I think they're going rotten in the soil, in the compost. So I'm giving them up as a bad job. But rather than waste the compost where I have put the cowslips, I can see really that they're quite wet, so I need to get rid of some of the water. I'm going to use this compost again. I'm just going to put something else in it, and then I'll tip out the compost with the broad beans in and just reuse them again in a tray to do some seeds. I also on the weekend I brought my potatoes ready for chitting, but it's too cold to do that yet, but I didn't want them to run out in the garden centre, so I brought a pack ready, and I'll just leave them in the house for a couple of weeks, and then I'll bring them out here to chit. They say to plant potatoes around Easter time, but Easter changes every year, and this year it's quite later in April, and I'd rather get mine chitted and ready to plant by the end of March. And I've also brought another rhubarb root. It's different to what I've already got. This one's called red champagne, and this needs to go in the ground really because it's already doing quite well in this bag, but it's too wet to do that today, so I will do that later in the week if I get a dry day to do it. And because it's still getting quite cold here in the greenhouse, it's a little difficult to know what seeds to plant, because there are some that I want to get planted. I don't want to leave them too late. So I think that with the pods where I put the cowslips in, what I'm going to do with them is I'm going to put some sweet pea seeds into those, and what I'll do is allow them to grow so far in these, and then I will plant them straight out in the garden. This year I've decided I'm going to plant the sweet peas against a trellis and let them just grow themselves up amongst the clematis and everything else that's there on the trellis. So I'll do that today. At least one pod. It's 3, 6, there's 12 in each of these trays, and so I'll just do this one today, and the other tray, which is a little bit wet, I will take that out to there, drain the water and let that dry out a little bit before I plant anything else in there. I have to try to fit in what I do in the garden around my full-time job. I don't think I've ever put on the blogs what my job is, but I'm actually the pastor of a church in Gateshead, and so what I try to do when I've taken my wife to work, I work through till about 2 o'clock, and then I try to do something in the garden for half an hour or an hour, and then go back to doing what I need to do for the church. So I've come out today to just spend a little bit of time doing something before I go back in again. So I'll sort out some sweet peas. I've also brought marigold that I want to get planted as well. It says sow indoors February to April, and it may be just a bit too early for them yet because the temperature is still so cold. Now I brought this packet of peas. It's called the Sweet Pea Collection. Dwarf and tall, some very fragrant garden and cut flower favourites, and there's 6 varieties, each of them separately packed. And so I'll just choose one of these for now and put some 12 in these here. Some of them say an average of 15 seeds, so I'll choose one of them. There's one there called Blue Velvet, so I'll look for that one. Well, I'll have to find my labelling pen, put a label on there again afterwards. I'll just leave that pack just on top for now so that I remember what's in there. And then what I'm going to do now, as I've said, is I'm just going to empty these runner beans. I'll just put that rubbish somewhere. Put that in there. I'll empty them into there so that I can reuse this compost again. I'll leave it there to dry out. Broad beans that I planted have just gone mushy inside the pots, so probably because of the frost that we've been getting. I've got here the one tray of the sweet peas that I planted on the 12th of December. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 come through there at the moment on that pack, and there's just 2 more on that one, so they've survived the frost. I'll just wait to see if anything else comes through there. I planted them as a trial, so if they didn't come through it didn't matter. There was some sweet pea seeds that were left over from last year. So it just seems if it's just too cold yet to do too much. So I'll leave it at that for today. Hopefully get a chance to come back in the greenhouse later this week. It's Wednesday and it's the 12th of February and it's a wet day again, which I don't mind because it's warmer than it is when we've got those frosts. And so I've just come out into the greenhouse because I'm just going to tidy it up a bit, ready to get the shelving tidied up, ready for planting a little bit later in the month. And if I got a bit of time today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just begin to pre-fill some of the pots with compost so that when it comes to sowing the seeds a little bit later, I'm ahead. So that's all I'm going to do here today. Now the greenhouse is in a bit of a mess because I got plants everywhere, I've got empty pots everywhere, so I need to sort a lot of that out. I've got a few empty bags here, but I'm not going to get rid of these because I'm intending to put them into the boot of the car and stop by the farmers up the road to see if I can get some horse manure or cow manure to put on the garden. So I'll keep these. Couple of jobs I can't do until it gets dry again, so that's to plant the rhubarb and the blueberry, so I'll just put them here in this bowl for now and then they're out of my way with those bags. So a lot of my shelves have got the bulbs on that I planted into pots, and I think what I'm going to do now with some of these, I'm going to put them outside in the garden. They should drain, yeah, they should drain okay, and so that gives me more space here in the greenhouse. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Don't think there's anything in that one, but I got there 3 strawberries which I did from seed last year. I need to repot them before they get pot bound in there. I might do that today as well. But I'm going to have strawberries coming out of my ears if they do well, because I got so many strawberry plants. I'll probably have to give some of them away. I've got a number of these containers here which I'm going to use for peas, and last year I sowed my peas on about the 28th of February, and I had a good crop. They did really well, so I might do these probably the end of February again, but I can get a few of these trays ready. There's some compost in them. I don't need to sieve the compost for those. All I'll do is I'll soak the peas a day or two before I sow them. So I'll decide how many of these I want. Probably 24. I'll get those ready for peas. I'm also going to get some of these smaller packs ready, and I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. Got 6 here at the moment. I'll do all of these, and not sure, there's some compost here which might be a little bit finer. Yeah, I'll use this to put the finer seeds in, such as when I do the geraniums, the marigolds, and other things like that as well. Yeah, that's a few of them done ready. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lots of seeds, 6 lots of seeds, 1, 2, 3, 4 lots for the sweet pea, for the peas. Probably do some more for some more sweet peas as well, but I might do them in individual pots. Yeah, I'll do them in these, and I'll probably put out 4 in each when I plant them. I'll leave the fleece from around this one for now. Just see how well these come on, and if it's going to get cold again, I'll put the fleece back around them again. So that's half an hour just spent here now, and it's just worthwhile just to get those ready, so that when I can come out here and plant some of the seeds. And dry day, I'll get some manure. I'll have a dry day to plant the rhubarb and the blueberry. The rhubarbs that I put under pots to force through, 2 of them have come really well, so I had to put some bigger pots over them. But the other one, which had come through, was just died off, so I've taken the pot off there just to leave it to the air and see if it'll just revive itself. That's the one that I planted from seed last year. So I'm not going to get much more done today. See what tomorrow brings, or Friday, and hopefully get this vlog up and done by the end of the week. I did forget to mention in my last vlog that I had a letter of mine published in one of the magazine's Garden Answers, just highlighting the difference in our garden from when we first moved here, which is 4.5 years ago, to what it was like last summer, which would have been a period of 4 years, and I got star letter. So I'll put a copy of that on the video, maybe after this video that I'm doing at this moment. Well, it's Thursday and it's the 13th of February, and it's actually my 65th birthday today. But I've come into the garden, or into the greenhouse, just quickly because I've made the decision that I'm going to plant the rhubarb in this big pot. And I haven't got any manure, but I've got compost, which I'll put it in at the moment. Then when I got some manure, I'll put it around the top. But I have got some feeding pellets, which I'll put on there as well, and then see how the rhubarb does in this for this next year. Then next year, hopefully I should be able to get some rhubarb from it, and at the end of next year, split it into 2. I'm also going to put this blueberry out today in the corner of the veg patch, because I can't keep leaving it any longer. And again, I'll just have to put some manure around the top as soon as I've got some. Again, this morning I've just happened to look out through the kitchen window and noticed some blue tits going into the older nesting box on the fence, so hopefully I might get 2 lots coming into the garden. We'll just see. So I'm just going to put the blueberry down here in the corner. This is some of the manure that I spread on the garden the other day, so I'll put some of that around there. Make sure it's into that. I've never planted a blueberry before, so we'll see what happens. So that's it for today, and that'll be it for this vlog. So hopefully I'll get this up and ready to go on YouTube before the end of this. So thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll get another one up as soon as I get a little bit more done in the garden.